name is Penguin Hasashi. So, my daughter and I, she is 6 years old, well, 6.5. Her and I watch ASMR videos every single night before bed, and she's been bothering me about wanting to make our own ASMR videos. So I told her that at some point, her and I will both start making ASMR videos ourselves on our channel here. But today, it's just me. At some point, a couple weeks from now, it's going to be her and I both. So, as I'm telling you 2 funny stories today, I am drinking my limited edition V8 energy drink. It's summertime strawberry flavor, and honestly, I wish it was not a limited edition because this stuff is great. You're going to hear me taking a few sips of it every now and then because I just love it. Okay, so my first funny story was actually when I was in kindergarten. I had this little friend. Her name was Cassidy. Her and I would always ride the bus together, the school bus to school and the school bus back home, right? Well, one day it was winter time. It was ice cold outside. We were having a blizzard. So her and I both, we were completely bundled up from head to toe, even on the bus, because the inside of the bus was ice cold too. The bus driver just did not believe in the heater on the bus, okay? Well, I was almost like a big sister to my friend Cassidy because I think she was like a few months younger than me, right? So whenever we would ride the bus together, she would always lean her head on my shoulder and I would put my arm around her. Her and I were so close. I actually still have pictures of her, okay? But she had very long, bushy, wiry hair, okay? And I thought her hair was beautiful. But on this particular day, it became very deadly because she put her head on my shoulder and she was moving around trying to get comfortable, I guess. And some of her bushy hair got stuck inside of my coat zipper, and I didn't know. So I went ahead and zipped up my zipper because I was still chilly. When the bus was coming to her house to drop her off from school, she tried to lift up. Oh my God. That's when her and I both realized she was stuck to my jacket, like she was stuck to my coat. Her hair was embedded into my zipper. The anxiety was real because the bus was pulling up to her house and she was stuck, like her hair was deeply embedded into my coat zipper. So me and her, she started crying because it was hurting her and we couldn't get her out, and we were trying to pull and tug her hair out. And I remember the bus driver just looked up at the mirror and he was like, "Hey, isn't this your stop? Aren't you gonna go home, little girl?" But she couldn't move because she was stuck and we were too embarrassed to ask for help. So I looked at my friend Cassidy and I was like, "I'm sorry, I have to do this." But I grabbed her hair and I tore it out of my jacket. And let me tell you, I did not grab her hair the right way because it tore out of her head too. There was like a big clump of it. She cried. She saw her mom walking out of the house, so she quickly wiped her tears off and ran off the bus. To this day, I'm not sure if she knew that I was trying to help her or if I was trying to cause her emotional damage, because the next day, when her and I took the bus together to go to school, she did not want to talk to me. She was so mad and angry with me. She kept telling me, "You hurt me yesterday, you hurt me," and I kept trying to tell her, like, she is in life, how she's doing, and I'm wondering now, as an adult, if maybe she kind of understands that I wasn't trying to hurt her, I was just trying to get her unstuck. I just did it the wrong way. I just yanked her hair out of her scalp. When I got to go home, my mom saw this big clump of hair in my coat, and she made me explain what happened. That is an incident that I will never, ever in my life forget. It's still funny to me, though. That big clump of hair. Oh my god. Okay, so here is my second funny story. When I was about, I think, 18 or 19 years old, I had a really, really good friend named Aaron. And he was a soldier in the army for many, many years and everything. And he became like a dad figure to me, or like a grandfather figure. There was one particular day where he took me and my mother up to a creek so we can stick our feet in the water, collect some rocks, have fun. Well, I've always had this ability to know when something bad was about to happen, and my mom always had the ability to not listen to me. I told her, I was like, Mom, do not step on those rocks over there in the creek, because you're gonna fall. You are going to fall, and you're gonna get hurt. And she told me, she's like, oh, I'm not gonna get hurt. I'm not gonna fall. Don't worry about me. Guys, I turned my back on my mom for 10 seconds to talk to my friend Aaron, and all I heard was a big loud raw, like a scream. And I turned around and I'm like, Mom, and I looked for her. She was on her butt in the water. She didn't listen to me. She fell right on her butt in the creek on the rocks. Ouch. And I still remember her just sitting there. Her mouth was wide open, and she sat like that with her mouth open for like a good minute. And I told her, I was like, don't worry, Mom, I'm coming for you. And I took my socks back off, and I made my way over there, and I tried so hard to lift her up without me falling, She lost her glasses in the creek that day. Like, they fell off of her, and we couldn't find them. However, the next week, we actually went back up there, and I told her, I was like, this time, you better be careful. If you're going to put your feet in the creek, you better be careful, because I don't need you to slip again. We get there, and in that same spot, my mom's glasses, again, this was a week later, her glasses were still sitting in the creek water on top of a rock. They've been sitting there with that creek water rushing over them for a whole week. And I told my mom, I was like, Mom, your glasses, they're right here. Like, how did they not get taken down the hill, So I quickly ran over there, and I grabbed them for her, because I was not about to have her try to get them. She would have fell again. And you know what? I know I said I was going to tell you 2 stories, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you a 3rd story about my mom falling, because she falls a lot. Sorry. But I'm going to go ahead. Again, I know I said I was going to tell you 2 stories, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you 3. Okay, so my 3rd and final story, you guys. When I used to live with my mother, I was maybe about 17, going on 18, right? There was this one winter we had the biggest blizzard you can imagine. And my mom and dad, they don't drive. So we had to walk pretty far to get to the store and back. And it hills. You gotta walk all the way down the hills and all the way back up, okay? So, I don't know why, but my mom, she decided to want to go to the store on this very blizzard weather, okay? Like, the ground was completely covered. You could not see anything. And I told her, I was like, well, Mom, let me go down with you, because if you fall, I can help you, or I can get help. I'm not gonna let you go by yourself. So, her and I bundled up, and we started to head out. We're walking down our first hill, and for some reason, my mom decided to take an umbrella with her to put over her shoulder to keep her shielded from the sun that was just not gonna come out, okay? And I remember thinking, Mom, you look ridiculous carrying that big rain umbrella in the winter. I mean, the sun's not even out. Like, why do you have to look that ridiculous? But this was just what she was doing. And again, we were walking down that first hill, and she had that umbrella wide open. It was a big, giant rain umbrella. She had this thing open, holding it over her shoulders, waiting for the sun to come out, when it was never going to come out. And walking down that first hill, I told her, I was like, Mom, walk slowly. Don't try to walk fast. You're going to slip and fall. And again, like I said in my last story about my mom, she did not listen to me. And she kept telling me, you know what, just worry about yourself. Don't worry about me. I'm not going to fall. I'm not going to fall. And I'm like, fine. So I turned my back on her, and I start slowly making it down the hill. All I heard, again, was a very loud scream. All I heard was, raw. I turned around, and I saw my mom sitting in the snow with that umbrella still over her shoulder, with her mouth open. Her mouth was open in like shock and awe. And I could still see that image in my head, with her mouth open, with that umbrella over her shoulder. And I just started laughing at her. Like, I couldn't help it. I just started laughing. She told me, she's like, don't you laugh at me. Get your butt back up here and help me get up. I couldn't even make it up the hill. I was laughing too hard. It took me like 5 minutes to stop laughing, gain my composure, and climb back up that hill to get her up. I told her, I was like, why don't you listen to me? This is the, like, why? Why don't you listen to me? I'm always trying to tell you to not do this or not do that, because you're going to get hurt, but you do it anyway, and you end up getting hurt. Like, so I did everything in my power to pull her up, and I managed to get her up. She ended up with a couple of big bruises on her backside and her back, and my dad and I had to keep rubbing, like, soothing stuff on her back, you know, but I let my dad do the majority of that, because I'm not doing that right. But yeah, that is 3 stories for you guys, and then that is all I have for you guys for today. Again, sometime very, very soon, Zelda Hasashi and myself, Penguin Hasashi, we are going to be making together ASMR videos for you guys. We're going to be whispering and just tapping on things, maybe even doing a few like eating sounds, you know. So I will catch you guys in the next video. I'm gonna upload another video after this, I think, but the third video I make, it's probably gonna be me and Zelda doing ASMR. So I'll see you next time, guys. Bye bye.